Hi, and good morning in China and good afternoon in California. My name is Keith Tier. I'm the US Managing Partner of Accelerated Digital Ventures, which is a UK-based venture fund. And today I want to talk about automation, work, and health, and help understand why change is inevitable in all of these areas. So the first thing to say is that, and I hope you all agree on this, automation is a good thing. You can see the picture there of one of my portfolio companies, Infarm from Berlin, who have automated growing food inside buildings to feed cities without needing to transport the food from the countryside into the city. They use LED lights and hydroponics to grow the food with nutrients, no soil, and no fertilizers at all. It would take a vast amount of resources for a normal farm to grow as much food as productively as they do. And the reason this is good, some of the reasons are obvious, but maybe less obvious. The first thing to say is that, as we know, labor is expensive. Any of you who have ever run a business know your biggest bill is for the people you employ. And if you could employ less people, the cost of production would be reduced enormously. If that happens, the price of things can tend towards zero, as zero labor is needed to produce things. And once prices tend towards zero, needs can be met. All the needs that human beings have can be met very, very inexpensively by a fully automated society. And as human beings are freed from the need to work, leisure time can grow. So automation makes all of these things possible. The word that really sums up the impact of automation on the human race is progress. Progress really is about being able to live better, doing less, and enjoying the time that that gives you. So for me, the meaning of progress is directly correlated with automation and the trend towards less work. Of course, less work doesn't mean people will do nothing. We all have hobbies. I like working on my garden. Spent most of the coronavirus trying to make my lawn grow and got massive enjoyment, and nobody's paying me for that. It's just the joy of doing it. Sport is obviously something we put massive effort into and enjoy without expecting to be paid. And just enjoying free time with friends. I also like photography, and I do photography for friends. So freedom from work doesn't mean freedom from effort. It means freedom from employment, because automation can now do what previously people had to do. What happens in a society that progresses to that level of automation, which I think will happen in the lifetime of our young children today, is that work becomes optional. You can still choose to work, and if you do, you'll gain various benefits from choosing to do it. But it's optional because the needs of life can be supplied without needing to work. So instead of not working being called unemployment, it becomes free time. Time where you get the choice to decide how to use that time. Now, there's some obvious objections to this, even though people may agree that it is inevitable that technology will begin to automate many, many manual tasks. Self-driving cars are obviously the one everyone is very aware of, but we've had factories run by robots for many, many years now. And the objection normally is, well, if there's no work, then people won't have money. And if they don't have money, life is going to be very, very hard. So how will this trend towards worklessness enable people to live? Of course, if we can't answer that question, what we will get is this. US unemployment figures, the current figures are even higher than this, I think, where people have to line up in order to try to get enough money to live on. It's a society dominated by giving food stamps and helping the needy. That's what would happen if we don't have an answer to, well, what about money? We'd get more hunger. We'd get homelessness if we didn't have money. And we'd certainly get sickness if we didn't have money. So if there's no work, is the future of the human race apocalyptic? Homelessness, hunger, and sickness? Or is there a solution? I believe there is, and it's well known as universal income. Universal income, briefly speaking, is something that is given to every human being in order to meet the needs that they have, the basic needs of life. And many countries have started to experiment with the idea of universal income. And with the coronavirus and the shelter-in-place arrangements that happen more or less everywhere in the world, the discussion of universal income has started to become very, very widespread. And indeed, one of the US presidential candidates, Andrew Yang, ran his whole campaign based on a belief in some kind of universal income. I personally believe that universal income is inevitable. It's something that will not be approved of always today, but it will be inevitable that over time, this is the way that we solve the problem of a workless society prospering from automation. For it to be practical, money has to become digital. And that kind of already happens. You know, when we use credit cards or debit cards or WhatsApp or WeChat for paying, money really is increasingly digital. Out of the $85 trillion that makes up the GDP of the world, only about 5 trillion of that is in notes and coins. So you can see that most money is not in notes and coins anymore. If money is digital, it solves a basic problem. It was a problem experienced when various governments tried to distribute money to their citizens during the COVID-19 lockdown. Here in the US, some citizens got $1,200 as a payment from the government. But in order to receive it, they had to have some kind of relationship to the government and then the ability to receive that money. And it proved to be quite difficult because the citizens and the government, the information that would be required to deliver that money to everybody was not in place. And we didn't really have a digital money distribution system. It seems to me also inevitable that money is going to become digital, and many governments are looking at how to digitize their national currencies. But there are non-governmental bodies, like, for example, Bitcoin and various cryptocurrencies, the Libra currency. I'm working on a universal rewards currency that allows people to spend in supermarkets. There are many other initiatives. And one way or another, money will become digital, will be distributed to citizens, and will be accepted by those who are selling. If that happens, then we can get to the stage where the entire human race is able to be given unconditional universal income. That is to say, as a right of being a human being, based on all of the progress we've made over many years since humans first arrived on the earth, we are now wealthy enough as a globe to give people this universal income without suffering, because work will become less necessary as production becomes more and more automated. If we can get to this stage of digital money and universal unconditional income, people will be able to eat, they'll be able to sleep, they'll be capable of staying healthy, playing, traveling, and if they choose, still working to earn extra on top of their universal income. All of those things will become possible without any negative consequence for society, in fact, only positive consequences. So what I'm arguing is that automation, which I think we'll all agree is inevitable, is going to lead to less work. I think we all would agree that is also inevitable. Less work is not the same thing as unemployment. It's the expansion of leisure time and also choice of how to use your time. So automation plus less work equals leisure, more leisure time, and greater choice. It requires digital money and universal income in order for the human race to continue to provide all of the things required for life. And if we can do that, we will have given new meaning to the word progress. The human civilization will have stepped up to an entirely new level. So that's me, Keith Tier. I'm the US Managing Partner at ADV. And please feel free to reach out to me on any of the social networks where I am known as K Tier, my first initial, Tier, on Twitter, on Facebook, or keith@tier.com via email if you'd like to talk more about any of these issues. Thank you.